Location, Connecticut. Date, April 1996. Time, 2:45 a.m. Source, Phillip J. Imbrogno, Ultraterrestrial, contact page 142 to 147.
The witness had decided to go to bed early, and for some reason he was feeling very tired, but it wasn't tiredness from the day, it was like he had just taken a sleeping pill. He went to bed and in a matter of minutes fell into a deep sleep. He woke up with a jump and heard a buzzing in the room. He looked at the clock. It was 2:45 a.m. He tried to figure out where the buzzing sound was coming from when, without warning, the wall on the north side of the bedroom started to glow with a faint, dull yellow color. He sat up in bed, wondering what the hell was going on. Then this being walked right through the wall like it was liquid or something. He was really shocked because it looked like one of the gray-type aliens they show in UFO movies, books, and magazines. The being was about 5 feet tall or so, and his skin was paper white, not gray. He had a large head and round, black eyes. He appeared to be in a black, skin-tight suit, and his arms were longer than you would expect for someone of that size. He couldn't see its fingers. The alien had no visible ears and he could barely see his mouth, his lips were very thin. He walked over to the bed and began speaking to the witness. He didn't actually hear him speak out loud, he listened to his voice inside his head. He said, "Don't be afraid, I come in peace. I want to show you something you will have to learn. In the future, you will be able to help us." Now this was strange because the witness actually felt no fear at all. The strange-looking visitor radiated peace and goodwill. He felt straightforward with him. At least he thought it was male. He got out of bed, followed the alien, and they went right through the wall. He then found himself in a small, very dark room that looked like an elevator. The alien told him they were in a type of vehicle that was able to travel through space and time. He does not know how long they were in this room since he had no sense of time. There was no sense of motion or anything like that, no noise, nothing. It must have been a short time because he couldn't remember any conversations with the being at that point. He did ask him what his name was and he replied, "Names are not used. We identify each other by telepathic signatures in our thoughts." Suddenly they were in a lit corridor. He looked up for lights but didn't see any. Somehow the entire room was lit in a whitish light that reminded him of the fluorescent lights in hospitals. They stopped, there was a flash of light, and suddenly they were in a very large room with tables. He looked towards the far end and saw a man and a woman on separate tables, lying head to head. He knew who they were, but as he thinks about it now, he couldn't remember where from. But while he was there seeing them lying on the tables, he even knew their names. The woman had long black hair and she turned her head to greet him. She smiled and greeted the being, "Hi, we're fine." He asked the being why they were there and he said, "This man and woman volunteered to help us. We have many people who are helping us." He then asked the being where he was from and he told him he was from another star system. His species has the ability to travel in the closer dimensional windows to our planet. He also saw a number of unusually tall men wearing lab coats, and from the back, they appeared human. The being then told him he had to leave and one of the human-looking beings came over and greeted him. This other being had black hair and very round dark eyes. He looked almost human to the witness, but something was a little off. He spoke in English and told the witness he was a hybrid between the human race and the beings he called the Travelers. He asked him if he had a name and he said no. "We have signatures in our brains." He told the witness he was a scientist who was trained and educated in Earth's medical schools and by the Travelers. He revealed that there are many like him on our planet. Some closer to being human and some more like the Travelers. He then said, "Those who more closely resemble humans are returned to your planet to live in your world. At a certain age, we contact them to help us with the mission. Those who are genetically closer to the Travelers like me stay on these ships to work. We are all involved in an important mission, and that is to save a race of ancient beings. The other doctors in the room didn't pay attention to the witness and seemed quite involved in their work. Although he couldn't see exactly what they were working on, he did see something on one of the tables move, so whatever they were working on was alive. The hybrid man speaking to him had a strange, monotonous, unemotional voice, and his face was always straight and devoid of emotion. The witness got the feeling he was dead serious about what he was explaining. The witness asked him to show him what the doctors in the lab coats were working on, and he took him over to a table that looked like it was made of sterile stainless steel. The table had a number of instruments that looked like medical monitors with digital readouts. As he walked over to the table, he was shocked to see a hybrid baby on the table with a number of tubes attached to him. He says him because it was clearly a male. The child must have been no more than a month old, but it wasn't quite human. It had human features but also looked like the being that brought him to the ship. The infant's skin was more a dark clay color, the head and eyes were very large. It was covered in some type of clear skin-like membrane and did not look happy or healthy. The man with the witness told him the infant represented the new generation of hybrid beings, but some type of virus was killing them and they were desperate to find a cure. He also told him that the travelers themselves were reduced in numbers and were trying to survive, but the future looked grim. He said they were hoping to create a hybrid being capable of living in our society. The only way they could continue their threatened species, but their plan wasn't working. He told the witness there were other powerful forces in the universe that were determined to kill off the travelers and all their offspring. He also said that a secret group within the US government is also at work trying to capture the technology the travelers offer, but because the travelers wouldn't cooperate, the secret group is trying to wipe their entire race out and steal whatever they can. The hybrid man quickly added that a secret part of the United States government recently made a deal with the hostile aliens and agreed to help them destroy the travelers in exchange for their technology. Suddenly the being that brought him there was standing by his side. He told him it was time for him to leave. He said he wouldn't remember everything he was shown and that it was for their protection. As he brought the witness back to the elevator room, he promised he'd come back for him in the future. A second later, he found himself back in bed. It was 8 in the morning. He felt very tired and had a bad headache. He would have future encounters,